Good morning, good morning. It's Sage Sue, aka Sue Ronenkamp, back for another video all about thriving with age, focusing on aging well, and owning our aging in positive, empowering, and meaningful ways. Last month I started a new series called Best Practices for Aging Well. And each month I'll bring another practice, a best practice for you to consider, think about, and hopefully practice to enhance your own thriving with age and aging well experience. What I want to talk about today is this idea of shifting back to beingness from the heavy doing phase of life and being reminded of this is part of the life cycle. We started in a being state. Yes, we went into the busy years of our life, the decades, but now it's time to shift back into that being part of ourselves again. It's an important evolution, I believe, for thriving with age fully. I thought of this week because I was reminded of people I've known in the past and people I know now, older people who are still really caught up in that doing, being busy kind of living, and haven't really shifted to understanding the benefits and the value of shifting back to a state of beingness again. Not entirely. We're not leaving the world. We're not becoming disengaged with the world. We're just moving to another phase. And another way of looking this is, in youth we grow up, and in the middle years we grow out in our activity, our engagement. In elderhood we grow down. We grow deeper. And so it's a way for us to reach that state, but we have to do some practicing with it like we do a lot of different things in our lives. I think about the shift that I started making at midlife, and as with all practices for aging well, we don't have to wait till we're old to start practicing these things. At midlife, I started playing around with meditation. And I remember those first months, probably those first few years, where I would try to quiet my mind, and oh my God, 5 minutes seemed like an eternity. It slowly became part of my daily practice, just kind of quieting everything down, going into that state of beingness. And I think now the shift I've made the last few years in the kind of exercise I do, I am doing a lot more yoga, where we kind of rest into poses. We spend some time in that state versus just move. And also we end every practice, yoga practice, with Shavasana, where we go into that full resting pose. And even with aqua class, I think one of the things I'm drawn to for aqua fit classes is that most of us end up in the hot tub at the end. So again, we work out, we get some exercise, but then we make sure to take that being time, stillness time, rest time in the hot tub before we move forward with our day. So those are the things we can do when we start shifting into that being phase, is practicing this part of our life evolution as we go out in time. One great way to look at this is just to think about how we're enhancing peace in our life. And this definition of peace is it does not mean to be in a place where there is no noise, trouble, or hard work. It means to be in the midst of those things and still be calm in your heart. And I think probably today more than ever, we're kind of surrounded by a lot of chaos. We want to enhance that peace and contentment in our lives. It's also important if things happen to us, we're dealing with pain, we're dealing with anxiety, to find that peaceful part of ourselves inside. It doesn't come from the outside, it comes from enhancing peace and contentment in the inside of us. Practices that help with this, taking some time each day for quiet and solitude, prayer, meditation, journaling, or just simply reflection and going within, or practices like yoga or Tai Chi. And most of all, to consider this time well wasted. Time well wasted to spend some time on this beingness part of ourselves. As I mentioned last time, and I keep dropping things, sorry, down on the floor again, is that with any practice, we have to practice it for actually to be of value to us. So again, we have to practice a practice for it to be of value. So see how you might put this best practice of shifting from doing to being, not totally. Again, I'm not saying give up everything in the world and just go into beingness. It's a nice balance between the two, especially at this stage in our lives when we're not at end of life. But balancing more that time within as well as being engaged in doing good in the world. I hope this helps. I hope you have a great week. And again, remember, let's thrive with age. It makes a difference on how we live out this time of life. See you next time. Bye.